Radio expert. Talk about, or you're.
I used to be on the radio. I was on the air for 12 years in Los Angeles. I did morning news and traffic.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. You get paid to have fun. We were just talking about this.
Let's hear your radio voice.
Morning, low clouds and fog, followed by sunny skies. Highs today, 60s downtown, 70 in the valleys, 80 at the beach. Whatever, I mean,
it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, it really is. Once you do it, you never forget.
I can tell you've got a good sense of humor because I started reading your book, Come On Down, about your Italian-American upbringing in Beaver County, and
Yes.
Your mom, a character in the best possible way.
I think that would be the best way to describe my mother. Everybody has a Mary story. All my relatives growing up with her. You didn't hang out with my mother unless you were prepared to eat and eat a lot, and you were prepared to listen to her, and she had great stories to tell. And she was just a character. She had her dreams and her desires and her wishes, and she was great. I used to be embarrassed by her as a kid, but now that I'm all grown up, I'm like, yeah, I hope I'm kind of like her, because she was fun.
It seems in the beginning of the book, you said it took a while to finish, and at some point you were even questioning, should I keep going? But then you realized people needed to know the story about your mom.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, it's a very uplifting thing. When you're a teenager, you look at your parents and you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe you. Then you get older and they start to get smarter and smarter. And then by the time you're in your 60s and your 70s, you're like, wow, my parents were geniuses.
And you turn into them.
Well, yes, you do. For better or worse, perhaps.
One of the delightful things about your book, and I'm going to hold it up on camera here for Facebook.
Oh, thank you.
Come on down. You actually include recipes from your mom, Fran, and these are Italian recipes.
See?
Yeah, we got two copies right there. So, which of your recipes most reminds you of your mom? Which one do you most associate with her? There's some good ones in there.
I'm trying to think of which one actually. My mother made so much stuff. One of the things that she made that I always loved was she made chicken with onions and oregano and olive oil and potatoes, and sometimes carrots she'd throw in. And she'd just mix it all up with her hands, and she'd sprinkle the oregano all over it, and she'd bake it in the oven. And I'll have to find that for you. It's the recipe right after she chases me with the spoon.
And you brought the spoon in.
I brought the spoons for show and tell. The one that she used to chase me with actually it was like an oval top, and it had tiny little round holes in it for straining pasta, which of course, was a double, it doubled as a weapon.
That would leave a mark.
Yeah, it did. Well, it would leave nice little concentric circles on your skin if she got you. But I was very fast. She usually never got me.
Well, Fran, your book does have a chapter called An Italian Parent's Guide to Obedience Via Terror, Intimidation, Guilt, and Corporal Punishment.
Yes, that would be correct. Yeah, that was what she did.
But all based on love, and
exactly.
It was very important for her to be proud of her kids, and she was going to do what she could to get you to that point.
Yeah, she was going to lay down the law and make sure we behaved, because if we didn't, it was not good. But you know what? It was never. She would chase me with a spoon, but she could never catch me. And if she did, she'd wing me maybe, So it really, and you grow up, and a lot of people my age, grew up with parents who used corporal punishment. And, we survived. We're actually, mostly normal, mostly.
A lot of, how should I say, Jesus imagery in your house. At one point, you counted how many religious icons were in there, and
yes.
It was more than 40.
There were 40 in the kitchen and dining room alone. Yes. And Jesus was watching all the time.
You still have the neon Jesus?
I have the light up Jesus. He's in the basement at my house. I almost brought him today. And then I thought, no, that might be sacrilegious. People might not like it. So.
No, it's all part of the fun. And we're going to talk about your Beaver County ties, your mom's Beaver County ties, how she ended up in Rochester, Monaca. You ended up in New Brighton.
Yeah.
Dropped the names of some local landmarks. But right now we got Noah Haswell with local news. Noah, she used to work for a Los Angeles radio station doing news.
My mic on? There you go. Yes, I heard.
She had a better producer than me, I guarantee. New Brighton, from New Brighton.
Hi.
Yeah, Frank just peeked in our studio here.
Go Lions, go Lions.
Okay, just closing the door.
Okay,
anyway.
all right.
Let me cue up, as you know, we got to do the legal ID, right?
Oh, okay, you go ahead. Do what you got to do.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Beaver County Radio's news source, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and beavercountyradio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Tuesday, March the 3rd of 2026. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast and a quick snow watch after we take this look at news. Law enforcement in Pittsburgh is investigating a recent threat against Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor that was broadcast over police communication channels. KDKA began hearing what appeared to be Nazi songs over the police scanner yesterday afternoon and then heard a death threat against Mayor O'Connor. According to Allegheny County 911, local police broadcast channels were hacked by what appears to be a pro-Nazi group. Police are now investigating what was described as a robotic voice that made the death threat. Police communications were interrupted by the Nazi songs and messages praising the former Nazi leader of Germany, Adolf Hitler. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver reported via release today that 35-year-old Caitlin Galbraith of Imperial was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol in Beaver County on the early morning of February 4th, 2026. At 4:01 a.m., the vehicle of Galbraith was stuck in the snow at 147 Lincoln Highway in Independence Township, and Galbraith was subsequently arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. The City of Aliquippa Police Department is now hiring full-time police officers, and the deadline to apply is on March 16, 2026. The starting pay is $32 per hour, and some of the benefits include holiday pay and generous sick, vacation, and personal time. You need to be a citizen of the United States that is 20 years old or older, certified by Act 120, or enrolled in an Act 120 police academy. You can apply in person at either the City of Aliquippa Police Department or the city building, both located on Franklin Avenue. If you have any questions, call 724-378-8000. Applications are available now for the North Swickley Township Hometown Heroes Project, which is for retired service members who are residents of that township or graduates of Riverside High School. This does not include active duty members or veterans that are living outside of North Swickley Township. You can find the application at northswickleytownship.com or at the North Swickley Township building in Beaver Falls. The deadline to submit this application is on April 10th, 2026. And a Pittsburgh man has been charged with homicide in connection with a deadly shooting that happened in Wilkinsburg in January of 2026. The Allegheny County Police Department filed charges against 41-year-old Jason Lavelle Moran yesterday. Investigators identified Moran as a suspect in the murder of 31-year-old John Jackson. Jackson was found in the street at the 700 block of South Avenue on January 13, 2026 at 8:42 p.m. Allegheny County Police stated that Jackson had been shot in the head. Moran was taken into custody yesterday and is being held in the Allegheny County Jail. This newscast is being brought to you by St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom. We will check your Beaver County radio weather forecast and a quick snow watch right after this.
Hey, Sarah, how are you?
I'm really stressed out and I feel so overwhelmed. My daughter is getting married and then I'm taking care of my mom. I could really use a break.
You should call St. Barnabas Beaver Meadows. They have a really good respite program that can give you the break that you need.
Really? Tell me more.
When I was feeling overwhelmed taking care of my dad, I used St. Barnabas Beaver Meadows respite services. I was able to take him there for up to 30 days so that I could get the break that I needed. They were able to meet all of his needs, and he had so much fun that it was like a vacation for him too.
That sounds just like what I need. How do I get a hold of Beaver Meadows?
Just call 724-495-1600 and ask about their respite services. You can also go online to stbarnabashealthsystem.com.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Drive with caution as some areas may see some freezing rain this morning. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain likely off and on throughout the day and evening. We'll see highs near 52 and overnight lows around 42. And the chance of rain continues tomorrow, and we could see an evening thunderstorm as well. Look for highs of 55 and lows of 49. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
on this Tuesday, March 3rd of 2026. At 4 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 36 degrees as well as a drizzle of rain out there currently in Beaver County. It's time for a snow watch on this Tuesday, March the 3rd of 2026. You can also find these on our website at beavercountyradio.com. Few delays to announce this morning, and they are as follows. Butler County Community College, all of their locations, including Cranberry Township, will open at 9:30 a.m. And then Slippery Rock Area Parks and Recreation has a 2-hour delay. Slippery Rock Area School District also has a 2-hour delay. And Slippery Rock Program Center will open at 10 a.m. today, meaning they have a 1-hour delay. Snow Watch is sponsored by McClellan's Roofing, Moon Township Honda, Zookie's Sports Tavern, and Sheffield Lanes over in Aliquippa. Because if snow's got you covered, so do we here at Beaver County Radio. And that's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Price is Right theme there because we do have Fran Tunno, local author in town, with her book Come On Down. And we're going to get to the story about your mom living her dream. Noah, can you imagine being on The Price is Right? How exciting would that be?
Cool. I mean, Drew Carey does a heck of a job with what he does over
He
in those
does.
CBS studios. And, yeah, a lot of people probably want to audition to be on The Price is Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you get tickets, this is my
Whoa,
mother's.
she
tag.
has her
That's
tag.
my mother's name tag. There
so
you
jealous.
go. But you know what? If you get tickets ahead of time, at least this is the way it was. God knows how many years ago when we were on. They interview everyone in the crowd. They interview every single person who's in the crowd, and to see who's going to be the best person to be on the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm
and
sure
so
her
my mother gets them. She's so excited.
personality had to have done that. All right.
She said every day at 11 o'clock I got to turn on the TV and watch him, Bubba Barker. I just love him. He's such a nice man. And my father called it the holy hour,
You didn't talk to her during that hour.
No,
you left her
you
alone.
didn't. And if you walked in there, she'd say, "Shut up, I'm watching The Price is Right." That was it.
So Italian name. By the way, you
Yes.
have a guest with you in our studio
I
from
do.
Italy. Hello.
My cousin Irene Tunno. She's wonderful. And so, yeah, she's deigned to come with me today. I dragged her here, poor thing.
She's filming you, and you're trying to stay off camera, I can tell.
God bless you, Irene.
But where are you from? What part of Italy?
Central Italy, where originally our family is from. So L'Aquila, it's a mountain town like east of Rome, about 80 miles east of Rome.
Oh, wow.
That's where I'm originally from, and that's where Fran's dad.
It's where all the
from.
best people are from.
I'm sure you've had some of the recipes that are in this book.
Yes.
Come on down. What's your favorite? What?
Boy.
Actually, I think that Fran can cook anything. She's like such a great cook, and
Aw, thank you, honey.
there are like so many in there that I love it. She's
She did approve. We made 2 of these last night because the first peanut butter and jam roll didn't turn out quite as well as I wanted. So we tasted the first one and we decided that it was very good. So I think the peanut butter and jam rolls. She has, she's had the banana bread too. Yeah.
Oh, my mouth is watering.
Banana bread with chocolate chips. Put a slice in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and the chocolate chips get all melty, and it's really good.
So this is the advice you can get on Come On Down, Fran Tunno's book, Beaver County author. And just the idea of pairing apricots with the
peanut
with
butter.
The peanut butter. I never would have thought
and
of that.
leftover pie crust. That was my mom. My mom did that. She was always making stuff up, which was so cool. I mean, she put chocolate chips in everything. The time she tried it in apple pie, I was like, "No, Ma, you've gone too far. Stop." But she would just try things and see if it turned out okay. And she was very experimental, but a terrific cook, honestly.
There's a recipe in your cookbook if you're feeling under the weather or sick. It's a chicken soup, and you say if that doesn't work, you might as well just go right to the hospital.
That's
the
right,
emergency room.
because if that doesn't cure you, nothing will. Check your pulse.
What's the secret ingredient?
You know what? but it's basic. It's onions and carrots. I mean, it's all the stuff that everybody uses. Parsley, a lot of parsley. That's it. I mean, onions, carrots, chicken. I always use. I get Costco chickens because I happen to love Costco, and their roasted chickens. Man, you can't beat them. $4.99 for a chicken? Are you kidding me? That's the best. And they're really big too, and so you can just take that carcass and put it in the pot, and you've got chicken soup in literally like an hour. It's really good.
And you're back on your feet.
Yeah, you're back on your feet. You're happy. Celery, is another important ingredient. I'm sitting here going, geez, what do I put in? Sometimes my mother used to put a little bit of fresh tomato, too. She'd chop up some fresh tomatoes and put it in there.
Garlic?
Too.
Any garlic?
No garlic. She didn't used to put garlic in there. She'd always put like an onion, celery, parsley, and after it started cooking, she'd put either some pureed tomatoes, because my mother canned tomatoes every summer. This was a big production. I mean, the table would be covered with tomatoes, and they canned tomatoes on their own. She used it for spaghetti sauce.
Talking with Beaver County author Fran Tunno in her book Come On Down, about your mom, your Italian mom's big dream, and talk about how she ended up in Beaver County. For a while, she was separated from her husband. One was in Italy, one was in America.
Well, that was my grandparents.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
My grandparents. My grandparents had an interesting relationship. That's all I'm going to say about that. And so right after my mother was born, my grandmother left with my mother, who was an infant. She had another child who was 1 year old, and she was pregnant. And she left and went to Italy and remained there for 12 years. So my mother grew up in Italy, which was why she had the thick Italian accent. But she was the only of the first three daughters who was born in the United States. So she was American. She was so proud. Oh my God.
What brought them to Beaver County specifically?
I'm not sure why my grandparents moved. They moved to Rochester, and that was where my grandfather started a construction company. And he had a pretty successful construction company. I think my cousin still runs it, Carcase Construction.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So I think they're still in business and doing well. But that was what he started. They also had a tavern. They had the Carcase Grill. I think it was in Rochester on one of the side streets. I can't remember what the name of it is now, because I don't know Rochester as well as my brother does. But yeah, anyway.
One of your parents was from Rochester, one was from Monaco, so they had to cross the bridge at some point and meet.
Well, my father grew up in Italy. And then his father said, well, we're so poor, we have to do something. So my grandfather left my grandmother and all his children for 5 years. Because back then, this was in the early 1920s, you had to live in the United States for 5 years and not have any crimes and be a good, upstanding citizen. And then after those 5 years were done, then you had a sponsor come with you to where I guess they went to the courthouse, and they stood for you basically and said, yes, this person is everything they say they are. And then if the judge decided you could become a citizen, you got to become a naturalized citizen.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot to sacrifice.
Yeah.
My poor grandmother in Italy, who was raising kids and, as her grandfather's mother. I mean, this woman, man, she had a lot of work to do, but she did it all.
You were the youngest sibling? Do I have
I
that
am
right?
the youngest
Okay.
in my family.
Okay.
Yes.
So what was it like growing up in a very Italian-American family in Beaver County? There were traditions. There had to be.
Yes, there were traditions. Food was just hugely important. I mean, every time you came to my mother's house, you sat down and she'd say, oh, honey, sit down. You got to eat something. It was like if you left and you didn't eat something, she was insulted. My best friend Carolyn would come over, and my mother would say, what's the matter? Don't you like my food?
Oh.
And she'd have this really sad look on her face. And so Carolyn tried to explain that most of this was tomato sauce, and Carolyn had a delicate stomach. And, my mother was like, yeah. I don't know, she bought it.
One of the stories that touched me, she came to see you in a school pageant, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah. When I was in grade school, oh, God. It was my big claim to fame, There I was. For the first few years of my grade school life, I was always relegated to just being some kid in the background. And, my mother just thought I was the best things in sliced bread, couldn't understand why I wasn't the star of every production. I was like, Ma, I'm not as great as you think I am, but that's beside the point. And so I finally got to be one of the snowflake dancers in 6th grade because I went to New Brighton. I went to St. Joseph's Elementary School in New Brighton from 1st through 8th grade. And so I was a dancer, and there were 4 couples. There were, 2 girls and 2 boys, and we're dancing in this show. And we totally screwed it up the first night, and people were shuffling when they were supposed to be hopping, and it was tragic.
Well, it was an elementary school production. We're not Broadway here. Yeah.
It was, but we were pretty bad. And so my mother's out in the audience, and anytime you were anywhere, you could see her. She had the biggest smile, and she wore these glasses, the kind of horn-rimmed glasses that I think are kind of hip now, but back then, were just horn-rimmed glasses that everybody wore. And she's in the audience, and she's smiling, and you could see the reflection in the glasses. And I'm up on stage thinking, oh, my God, she's telling everybody how great I am, and here I am screwing up the snowflake dance. But you know what? It really... that's wonderful for a kid to have your parents out there in the audience cheering for you even when you're screwing up the dance. You know that your mother really loves you. Your parents really love you.
Inspired the name of one of your chapters of your book. If your mother is convinced you're great, who are you to argue?
That's right. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. You grow up thinking, well, wait, maybe I am okay, And, when you're growing up as a kid, you're so insecure, and life beats the crap out of you, as we all know. So you get older and older, and then you start thinking, well, you know what? Maybe my mother was right. Maybe there is something about me that's good. Kids need that. Mm-hmm. Kids all need that. You need that constant reinforcement to make you go, okay, all right, I can do this. I can get through this thing called life.
You mentioned when you were growing up and you were a kid, there was an image in advertising of the blonde hair, big-eyed, blue-eyed, and you were, Italian American. You had the dark hair and then the different complexion. And
frizzy brown hair, brown eyes, and all the cute little girls had the straight blonde hair and the blue eyes. And, and you always feel like, oh, I'm not cute like the girls on the Northern bathroom tissue, Because that's what they...
Coppertone.
Coppertone, yes. Jodie Foster was the Coppertone kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was. Huh. Yeah. So, that's the image you grow up with, thinking, oh, I should look like that, and I don't, But then you grow up and you go, okay, well, I think I was okay, I guess so.
And having the love of a mom and the confidence definitely helps.
It makes all the difference, honestly.
Talk about your dad.
My God bless my dad. He was so nice. He was the hardest working man on earth. He would work construction as a bricklayer all day, get up at 5 or 6 in the morning, work all day, and then he'd come home at night and he'd till the garden and dig out the weeds and just do everything that needed to be done around the house. He had the patience of a saint, honestly, because my mom was, she was a character, so.
Now, when she started talking about The Price is Right, and I don't give anything away, I haven't gotten that part yet, but... But what's his thoughts? Is she's saying, one day I want to be on The Price is Right. What was he thinking? This is lunacy. What was
my dad, just like everybody else in New Brighton, it's not a big city. It's a small town, and everybody's looking at her like, yeah, right, Mary, you're going to be on The Price is Right, And there was one lady in her card club who actually said to her, and what makes you think you have a chance?
Ooh.
Oh, my mother was so ticked. She was not happy. I want to get on the show. I want to show her, But it was really wonderful to grow up with parents who were so evenly balanced. Like my father was Mr. Calm guy, and my mother was like a firecracker on the 4th of July. Her birthday was the 4th of July. Yeah. So there you go.
And you brought a trophy in with you.
I did. My mother was Miss Beaver County. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had a Miss Beaver County.
Well, there you go. This is her picture.
Oh, I see why. Wow.
This is her picture. She was cute.
It's a crown and everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Here, Irene, can you give it to him and show Scott so he can see it up close and personal?
Now, was she proud of that trophy? Was that on display?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? Yes.
Oh, wow. Very pretty.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So that was a big claim to fame. I mean, that was the one. There were a number of moments in her life where she would enter. I guess back in the 30s, people were just like having beauty contests willy-nilly, I think.
I think you used a line in your book, men would find an excuse just so they could ogle women.
Yes,
I believe is your quote. And I'm not going to deny it. But
she was on some river cruise once. It was the Beaver County Men's Association, and they were on a cruise, and they decided to have a contest for the prettiest redhead, prettiest brunette, prettiest blonde. I'm like, okay, whatever. And she won for prettiest brunette. And it made such a huge difference in how she felt about herself, because she didn't feel real great about herself. Her parents were a little tough, very tough on her when she was growing up. And she was really their least favorite child. And I hate to say that, because I know I probably have cousins listening who are going to hate me, but it's the truth. You know, you got to tell the truth. So
that's what Mary would have done. And your book talks about Catholic school, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there can relate to
survived Catholic school.
Yeah, good word. Thank you for saying it. Yeah.
Yes, I have a lot of fun at the expense of the Catholic Church. I'm sorry, nuns. I'm not a bad person. I just have a lot of fun at the expense of the Catholic Church. But yeah, we had, every icon imaginable, and my mother won a big. Like a guilt-framed picture of Jesus that had a switch on it in the back, and you'd turn the switch and the light would light up in the morning, and it became our job, like her children's job, to turn the light on in the morning and say, "Good morning, Jesus," and then at night, you'd have to turn the light off and say, "Good night, Jesus." I swear to God, this is true. And if you didn't do it, she'd get really mad at you. She'd say, Don't you do that. Jesus doesn't like it when you do that. So, you had to really pay attention. But yeah, he was on. His light still works.
There you go.
She eventually gave up on that because we kept forgetting, and so she just put the light bulbs in, and as they burned out, she just replaced them. So Jesus' light was always on.
So what high school did you go to?
I went to New Brighton High School.
Okay.
I graduated in 1973 with all the finest people.
Oh, yeah. Our boss knows everyone in New Brighton. You guys will have to get together.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I know.
Bert.
I look forward to talking to him.
Now, take us on your journey, though? You go from there, and at some point you end up in Los Angeles on radio doing weather traffic reports. That's a pretty big adventure.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was, right after college, I went to Clarion. And right after college, I got a job as a sales rep, and I worked in Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio, and I drove all over the creation.
Pounded the pavement.
And I sold Listerine, Listermint, Efferdent, Evergrip, Schick razor blades, and Sinew tabs.
Ooh.
Very exciting lineup, isn't it? Yeah. And so after...
Was that like door to door?
No, I actually called on drugstores and grocery stores and wholesalers. And, you'd just go in and you'd line them up on the shelf and make sure that you had more facings than Scope did, because for God's sake, you had to do that. And then you try to talk managers into, ordering a display, because if you got a display, they'd have some sort of deal every month, and you'd have to sell it. And a good day was when somebody didn't throw you out of the store. Seriously, it was challenging, but it taught me a lot about being able to talk to people, because I, believe it or not, used to actually be kind of shy. I know no one listening is going to, yeah, right, Fran, you were shy.
I was going to make the point, you do talk a lot with your hands, I've noticed.
I do. Yeah. I'm Italian, Scott.
Right.
What do you want?
Nothing wrong with that. I like it.
Yeah, but then after about 4 years of selling Listerine, I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Some guy my boss had brought in a big 48-ounce bottle of Listerine, and he had dressed it up in a little Steeler outfit. and he gave what everybody there agreed, because we're in Cleveland. This is a regional event, and we're listening to him, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I cannot do this one more day. I just can't get excited about Listerine. I'm sorry, Warner Lambert, if you still make it, but I couldn't do it. I knew I wanted to write. I knew I wanted to be a writer. And so I had a friend who lived in Los Angeles named Rick, and he was one of my best friends all through high school and college. And he said, well, hey, I know somebody here who needs a roommate. Why don't you just move out? And I thought, yeah. So I did, and I went back to school. I went to UCLA Extension, and I got a professional designation in journalism. And I said, hey, this is great. And I got some internships at TV stations there. And then I just started becoming a writer. It was pretty cool. The first time you get paid to do what you actually want to do,
Not paid very much as a long-time journalist. I can vouch, but
yeah, I know. You were with the Beaver County Times, weren't you?
Many years,
For
yeah.
a long
27
time,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I met you.
When was that?
Because I used to contact you guys for the New Brighton Historical Society.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I knew your
yeah.
name rang a bell.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have to contact them. Come to think of it, I'm falling down on the job.
They've been doing a lot with the Underground Railroads. Will become an
Yeah.
issue that they have a lot, like a self-guided tour.
Yeah,
and,
I do that. I'm one of the people who
Okay.
does the little talks. It's fun. I mean, honestly, if you're out there and you're from New Brighton,
Well, that's right. Now I know. Now I'm piecing
Yeah.
everything together. All right. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
It's a fun organization. There are a lot of good people, and New Brighton has such an amazing history. The Underground Railroad was huge there.
In the American Art Gallery.
Yeah,
and they found that,
and they got
that
the tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you wrote to me about that.
Yeah, for USA Today.
Yes.
They ran that story.
Yeah.
So you were out in Los Angeles for a while. What made you decide to come back?
Well, you know what, Scott? I was working at the time for iHeartRadio in LA. I became a copywriter. That's what I did. I wrote radio commercials, and I do voiceovers too. So I would write commercials and you get to voice them too, which was great.
It's fun, isn't that, doing the commercials? Yeah.
I love doing that. It's really fun.
Picking the music is a
Yeah.
challenge. You want
Yeah.
to get the right tone, the right energy,
Yeah, exactly. And some stations get it and some stations don't. And some stations just let some computer figure it all out.
Oh, wow.
Which is not, I know, we don't want that. But yeah, so I was working as a copywriter and then COVID hit. And, nobody was selling anything, so there was no reason for a copywriter to be on staff. So they let me go, which was sad. And I floundered for a while thinking, what in God's name am I going to do? And I thought, well, why don't you just move back to Pennsylvania? It's a lot cheaper, and your whole family's there. And my daughter had already moved to Seattle. My son was still in LA and didn't need me because, once your kids are in their 20s, they're like, yeah, Mom, great. Talk to you later.
They come back.
Yeah, I think so.
So did Mary ever come out and visit you in Los Angeles?
She did. She did. She came out. Well, the first time was when she and my dad came out, and then she was on the Price is Right. Yeah. Anyway, well, everybody knows because I start the book there.
Yes.
But yeah, she was on the show and she loved it. And then she came out subsequently. God, I remember one time I was working at the time. I was working as a producer and a writer for a company in LA, and she was left to her own devices all day. And there's a place called the Farmers Market, which was within walking distance of where I used to live. And she loved it because it was this great. It's just filled with stalls with people selling food, prepared food, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. And my mother was in seventh heaven. She said, "This is my favorite place."
Would she haggle over a zucchini or something?
She would try, I'm sure. But she ended up there, and I think she was at a pastry counter or something, and she ran into a couple of guys, and she was telling them, "Yeah, I got to walk back to my place." And they said, "Well, we'll give you a ride." And so my mother ends up getting a ride with two guys in a convertible back to my apartment. And I was just like, "Ma, you would kill me if I did that, but it's okay for you." She says, "Oh, what? They were so nice and friendly, And I'm like, "Okay, fine." I couldn't control her. She was who she was.
Now, when did she pass? Or?
My mom passed in 1992. In fact, today is the anniversary of the day she passed.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I'm glad that we can have a sad anniversary celebrated with something really cool, like her book. I love that. I think that's great.
We're talking about the book "Come On Down"
This is
by
for you, Mom.
author Fran Tunno. Oh, yeah. She's holding up the spatula she was once chased with, and you bought some recipes too. And talk about the book itself. At what point did the light bulb go off in your head? I got to write about this.
I've been talking about this, Scott, since forever. I mean, I started writing stories down when I was in my 30s. I was 36 when my mom passed away. I was writing down stories probably from the time I was 32, 33 years old, because she was so funny. I mean, I just had so many stories about her because she was so quirky. And I told her, I said, "Oh, I've written something about you." And she looked at me and she goes, "You're going to make a monkey out of me, aren't you?" I said, "Ma, no." She said, "Yes, you are." But, she loved being the center of attention. So it was, it was fun. And I've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And then about, 15 years ago, a friend of mine said, "Well, for God's sake, why don't you at least do a blog and put some of these stories out there? Because you've been talking about this forever. You're clearly not going to do the book." And so I did the blog. And then last year, I came back after my 70th birthday. I hate saying that. And I thought, what are you doing? Just put the book out. Just do the book. And I sat down and I put it together, and here it is. You just kind of decide to do it.
We're going to talk about the writing process. We're going to tell people how to get a hold of this book and more. But right now, we got Noah Haswell in. Noah, let me cue up your music.
Would you like some applause, Noah?
There you go.
Yay, Noah!
When somebody wins a contest, we do that.
Yeah, we did that earlier, actually. Yeah, when I first heard the music, when you hear it the first time, it's great, and then when you hear it like a billion times, I'm like, okay, it's just your music.
I'm over the cowbell.
That's what someone of this workplace, or maybe used to work at this workplace, said.
It's his theme music, so here it is. Give us your honest opinion.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Sounds serious, huh?
I know, very serious. I'm not messing with Noah.
Good morning on this Tuesday, March the 3rd of 2026. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Law enforcement in Pittsburgh is investigating a recent threat against Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor that was broadcast over police communication channels. KDKA began hearing what appeared to be Nazi songs over the police scanner yesterday afternoon and then heard a death threat against Mayor O'Connor. According to Allegheny County 911, local police broadcast channels were hacked by what appears to be a pro-Nazi group. Police are now investigating what was described as a robotic voice that made the death threat. Police communications were interrupted by the Nazi songs and messages praising the former Nazi leader of Germany, Adolf Hitler. A winning fast play ticket from the Pennsylvania Lottery worth just over $555,000 was sold to someone in the Pittsburgh region on Saturday. According to the Pennsylvania Lottery, a $555,970 winning Money Power Progressive game was sold at the Shop and Save on Babcock Boulevard in Shaler Township. The store will receive a bonus of $5,000 for selling this winning ticket. Prizes that are won on Fast Play must be claimed within 1 year of the date the person purchases it, and the winner should call the Pennsylvania Lottery at 1-800-692-7481 and immediately sign the back of the ticket. U.S. Senator Dave McCormick joined the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh, or FHL Bank, during a ceremony yesterday in Pittsburgh announcing $53.7 million in 2025 Affordable Housing Program, or AHP, and Voluntary Housing Grant Initiative Awards in Pennsylvania. These grants, made in partnership with 19 FHL Bank member institutions, will support more than 1,100 affordable homes. The funding will assist with home repairs, new home construction, adaptive reuse of historic buildings, and housing for veterans and seniors. Allegheny Health Network's West Penn Hospital School of Nursing announced in Pittsburgh today a transformative gift from Bill and Maria Boyce of Houston, Texas. This donation establishes the Margaret Lesko Boyce Endowed Fund, which is a permanent endowment dedicated to supporting current and future nursing students by providing essential supplies and removing financial barriers that can hinder their education. The Margaret Lesko Boyce Endowed Fund is made in loving memory of the late mother of Bill Boyce, Margaret Boyce, who was a proud graduate of the West Penn Hospital School of Nursing's class of 1947. And Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender Arturs Shelovs had two amazing games over the past week and was recognized by the NHL for his performances. Shelovs was named the NHL's second star for the week ending on March 1st. According to the Penguins, all goaltenders with at least 2 games played over the past week, Shelovs leads all major categories. The Penguins have earned points in 20 of their last 23 games, while also ranking in the top 3 in the NHL for points, wins, win percentage, goals against average, and save percentage during that time.
Coach Muse has been rotating the goalies, right? She loves in the next game we see Skinner. Is that going to continue, you think?
I assume that's what they do. It's probably a good thing if it happens like in baseball, but so far so good.
I think
we'll
so
see
too.
what happens against Boston
tonight. Big game tonight right here on Beaver County Radio.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Drive with caution as some areas may see some freezing rain this morning. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain likely off and on throughout the day and evening. We'll see highs near 52 and overnight lows around 42. And the chance of rain continues tomorrow, and we could see an evening thunderstorm as well. Look for highs of 55 and lows of 49. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, March the 3rd of 2026 at 34 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 36 degrees. A light drizzle of rain as well out there currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Thank you, Noah. We're joined in studio by Fran Tunno of New Brighton, and we're talking about her new book, Come On Down, about her very Italian mom's big dream of being on The Price is Right. There's also all kinds of recipes in there. And Fran, I forgot to mention a bit about your bio. You mentioned a blog a bit ago. Your blog has appeared in the Los Angeles Times, the Huffington Post.
Well,
My
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. Well, you gotta drum up some business somehow, Scott.
You were on NPR, the Snap Judgment Show. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, and it's all the story. Every single one of those was the story of my mom being on The Price is Right. And they just loved it. In fact, they took, I still have the videotape of my mom being on The Price is Right. And the people at Snap Judgment took it and condensed it down to about the 15 minutes when she was on. And they did have it up on YouTube, but it's not there anymore. So I have it. I just need to get it and edit it and put it out there. And I need to do it soon because, this book is out.
We're going to talk a bit more about that. We're going to talk about the book, but I've been doing the cardinal sin of radio. You know what that is?
What?
I've been playing the commercials. So busy talking.
No.
I gotta get a few in here. So we'll be right back with Fran Tunno. Stay right there.
Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. How about a sausage egg McMuffin meal with hash browns and coffee for only $5? Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
LM&R Excavating is family-owned and does more than just digging. LM&R Excavating is tri-state licensed and fully compliant in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. Along with excavating, LM&R provides roll-off dumpster services, ADS drainage pipe, trucking and hauling, and hydraulic hose repair through Rust Belt Hydraulics. Coming this spring, LM&R Excavating will be your source for mulch, sand, gravel, and topsoil. LM&R Excavating services contractors, businesses, and homeowners. Contact them online at lmrexcavating.com. That's LM&R Excavating. Contact them today.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
At MRS Physical Therapy, they understand that you already expect to receive treatment that will help you move better, feel better, and recover faster and more completely from an injury or an operation. But did you know that you can make an appointment to come see MRS Physical Therapy without a doctor referral? And they even offer same-day appointment. It's true. You can come see them whenever you want and come back as many times as you wish for 30 days. There's no need to wait until you see your primary care physician. Get treatment when you need it most at MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com or call 724-728-7550.
Here is a question that's very easy to answer. Would you rather be sold something or get professional help and advice that ultimately leads to a strategy that best suits your needs? Tom Young at First Consultants Inc. in Beaver has a unique approach that has won over the trust of even the most skeptical clients.
Everybody that's selling is looking for a profit. I focus on creating strategies that are in the client's best interest.
Ask yourself this: what have you got to lose? The answer might be a fortune. Get financial strategies instead of a pitch about a product. Visit firstconsultantsinc.com or be a part of Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is in no way affiliated with First Consultants Inc., nor is First Consultants Inc. a registered investment advisor.
Sid and the kids are back, and you can hear all the Pittsburgh Penguins action right here on Beaver County Radio.
Comes Crosby, he scores! Oh, the captain has come to play tonight. Sir Sidney with a quick deuce, and it's 2-0.
Tune in all season long as new coach Dan Muse leads the Penguins on their quest for another Stanley Cup. Pens Hockey on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by St. Barnabas Health System, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Beaver Super, and Beaver County Radio. Coming at you from the Fried Transportation Group Studios, 9:39 on this Tuesday morning, March 3rd. It's been our pleasure to be talking to Fran Tunno. She has the book called Come On Down, about your mom, Italian-American, very Italian-American mom, I keep saying. It's all about food and
food and love.
Yes. And we were talking about, you wrote the book about that. Now the writing process, that as a writer, that always intrigues me. How did you put your thoughts into the book? How did you get it published? How does one go from, I want to write a book, to actually being able to do what I'm doing right now, holding up your book for the camera?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's quite the process. I started writing this so many years ago. This book has gone through about 1 billion iterations. I wrote it, and this was a turning point in my life. I turned 40 years old, and I had just bought Dave Barry's Dave Barry Turns 40.
Oh, he's funny.
I love Dave Barry. And doggone it, I should get him to write something for me. Anyway, we decided we were going to go to Paris. I went with my 2 best friends, and we're in Paris, and I'm reading this book, and I'm laughing so hard, and it dawned on me, I don't have to be totally respectful. I can write like I talk, which is not terribly respectful sometimes, but it's usually fun, And I thought, and so I changed everything from being this respectful tone to actually how I talk. And that's what they always talk about whenever you're a writer, finding your voice, And honestly, if you just sit down and you talk, and pay attention to how you talk, then you just start writing like you talk. You just imagine that you're writing for all of your friends who know you and love you.
Like you're having a conversation in a room, like we are right now.
Exactly. And so you tend to not worry about, am I going to offend somebody if I write? Just write what you write what you feel, and you can always go back and take out the most hideous parts later.
When the lawyers come knocking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
You definitely get your sense of humor and Come On Down. That's just one of the most pleasurable things about reading what I've read so far.
And thank you.
Now, how do you get the book out? Does it become, Amazon's got to be one of the big suppliers, is that right?
Amazon is big. This was a challenge because I had never, I thought, I'll just send it to agents. I'll get an agent and then I'll get published and it'll be great. Well, agents take a long time to get. And I really didn't want to wait. I just decided to do this last August.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, well, hey, I know what? I can record the audiobook, which was really fun because, of course, I did to my mother, and I had a friend who has an audiobook company. So I recorded the audiobook first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if anybody listens to the audiobook, they'll probably find things in the audiobook that don't sound exactly the same as the book because I changed some things.
Let's hear that accent again. Let's hear the
come on down. The Bob Barker, he invited me. Bob loved me. I'm telling you, he was such a nice man. But yeah, that's how she talked. I mean,
and you do a great job setting the
Thank
suspense.
you.
The first chapter, we do know she gets to be on stage with Bob Barker. Come on down, like the catch on Isman. But I still have to keep reading. I'm not going to say on air
That's
either.
right.
People need to find out. But so where are there brick and mortar bookstores where this is available?
I don't know. I have to It just got released last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was the 24th of February was the first week, and I had a pretty good first week, which was nice. And so I just keep coming out to places like this, and hey, I'll come back too.
Please.
And other podcasts, places. There's an Italian American podcast that's I'm going to be doing next week, and there are a few other things, to try to connect with people who would definitely identify with a story like this. But it's difficult. Once you decide you're going to publish, then you have to submit your work, all your writing, to an editor. And then the editor goes through it. And then you have to submit all your writing to someone who is a page designer. And the page designer is the person who says, oh, yeah, we can put those cute little pasta noodles at the bottom by the page number. Oh, yeah, we can put that interesting picture of a ladle or a spatula above each recipe, and oh, yeah, we can put these pictures in. Can you make sure that there's 60 DPI? Can you, there is so much involved in it. But I had really good people helping me. There was a gal named Rose Conway Friel who answered all my questions. She was terrific. So, there are people who can help you self-publish if you want to self-publish a book. And I really wanted to make sure that this book was as good as possible. And I ran it through several editors before I decided to put it out, because there's nothing worse than looking at your book and finding a typo or something. Yeah. And I didn't want that to happen.
That's one thing I think Beaver County needs is a bookstore. Zelienople has one, Sewickley has one. I know years ago Beaver had one. They don't have one anymore, do they? Yeah, we need to get on that.
Yeah, definitely.
New Brighton would be a perfect place for a bookstore.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I really like how you have little recipes from your mom. I'm going to read off a few here. Buttery iced almond cookies with a cherry.
Oh, those were so good. We made those for my brother's wedding.
Rosemary lemon garlic roast turkey with sausage chestnut stuffing. I know I'm making people hungry.
That's a really good one.
Bob's fettuccine with scallops and curry cream sauce.
Oh, that's my brother Bob's recipe. He made that. Now, he tells me now that he says, there's no garlic in there. I said, well, there was 40 years ago when you gave me the recipe.
And for anyone out there considering breakfast right now, here's a recipe for your mom. Scrambled eggs with asparagus, green onions, ham, and cheese.
Oh, my God, that was so good. Because she would make it and she'd get fresh mozzarella or what they call scamorza cheese, Scamorza. I don't know how to pronounce it, scamorza. My mother said, that's a scamorza cheese, So that's how I always pronounced it, but it's probably wrong because she didn't really speak English properly, but she didn't really speak Italian properly either.
Her own language.
Yeah, you had to kind of decipher.
Well, I admire how the Italians found a way to make ricotta both a dessert or a savory dish.
Yeah,
you can use it either way. That's genius.
Absolutely. It's really, my Aunt Johanna used to make her own ricotta. Mm-hmm. I watched her make it one time and I thought, wow, that's so cool. I didn't even know you could do that.
I have a friend, Gino Romano, he was born in Italy. He came over on the boat in the 1940s. He might be listening right now. He's 96, I believe. But he talks about growing up in Italy where they made their own almond milk, where they squeezed it.
Wow, yeah.
And then that's like a frou-frou thing now, but that's what they did back then. And
you can do that. I mean, if you soak your almonds overnight and then you put them in a blender, I think, and then put it through a cheesecloth, you've got almond milk.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So your mom. So
yes.
What can we say about The Price is Right? We don't want to give it away. We know she made it out there. Was it everything she hoped for? Did she tell the story years and years later?
Well, she actually had a piece in the Beaver County Times. You haven't gotten to that article yet. No. But yeah, there's.
Who wrote the story? I'll see if I recognize the name.
I'm trying to think. What was Tronzo?
Joe Tronzo.
Yeah, Joe Tronzo wrote the story. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of the Beaver County Times article in here because I did put a picture of it in here because it was too good not to. And it's funny because Joe apparently got my mother's name wrong. And so my mother cut it out, and where he wrote her name, she crossed it out and she wrote her name correctly.
She didn't demand a correction the next day?
No. It says the price was right for local woman on game show. And that's all I'm going to tell you.
Now, was everyone watching? Did everyone know back home? They knew she...
Well, that was the thing. They recorded it in June. We were on, and they recorded it June 21st, and it didn't actually air until September 24th because they record way ahead of time.
Okay.
And then they edit everything down and stuff. But but yeah, we got to tell everybody, and they gave us postcards. They gave us postcards so we could mail them to people at home and say, hey, watch our show. It's going to be airing such and such a date, and you can see. Yeah, my mother told everyone in the studio audience that the reason she was on the show was because I quit my job and moved to California just so she could be on
Destiny.
The Price is Right.
That was a sacrifice you were willing to make.
I know. Somebody had to do it. Why not me? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there in the audience thinking, oh, God, no, she's not telling everyone. There's no, please, no. But, yeah, that was life with my mom.
Well, she sounded colorful when I really wish I would have had a chance to meet her, but I feel like I know her. I feel like reading this book that I get a sense, and I think anyone that grew up in an ethnic household, whether it's Italian or anything.
Or Croatian or Serbian or whatever,
Polish, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Fran, we'll do one more quick commercial break. We'll be back more with local author Fran Tunno.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship, medication reminders, light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, and errands. Start your career in home care today and call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or apply online at patriothomecare.org.
Getting involved with card games can be risky. Playing the wrong card can cost you dearly, and pretty soon you will find yourself broke and busted. This is Kalen from Freedom United Federal Credit Union, and I'm talking about the riskiest card game of all, using high-rate cards from other institutions and stores. If you've been shuffling your deck for too long, and the bluffing you're doing with your own finances is beginning to look like it's time to fold, visit Freedom United Federal Credit Union and get a new deal on a low fixed rate Visa card. Through March 31st, get a low fixed 6.99% interest rate on all new Visa balance transfers with approved credit. Get back in the game. Put a little freedom in your future with a 6.99% Visa balance transfer. Special now available through the end of the month. Click freedomunitedfcu.com. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Scott Teddy back at Beaver County Radio, joined by local author Fran Tunno and her cousin from Italy, staying out of the camera. But you having fun? You enjoying this?
Yes, this is amazing. So interesting.
Oh,
Very fun.
We have a phone call. We're going to take a phone call if that's okay, Fran. Hey, you're on the Beaver County Radio Morning Show. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Scott. It's Tom Gargaro.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What a wonderful show. I missed the first part of it. I had a couple questions for Fran, not about the book, but about growing up Italian, if that's okay.
Sure, Tom. Go right ahead. I'm ready for you.
Okay, so first of all, Fran, my dad's family, parents were both born in Italy in the Abruzzo region.
Yeah, that's
What
where my
region is
dad
your
was.
family from?
My dad was from the Abruzzo region too. He was from a tiny little town called Poggio di Roio, or they call it Royo Poggio. Is that right, Irene? Okay, that's good. She's from there.
So what large town is that near, Fran?
It's near L'Aquila.
Tell me.
L'Aquila, the provincial
L'Aquila,
capital.
okay.
And
Yeah,
yours?
My family was from a little town up in the Maiella Mountains called Santa Femia Maiella.
Oh, it sounds pretty.
And it's probably about 20 minutes from Sulmona.
Oh, okay.
So here's the question I had. My mom was German-Irish, but we were immersed as an Italian family growing up. And I ask this a lot of times about Italian families that I meet. So did you folks, I would assume you guys growing up had polenta?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. That was the one thing my father could make. My father was not a cook. He made polenta in the winter when it was cold, and it was one of his favorite dishes because he used to eat it a lot as a child because they were really, really poor in Italy, and polenta was one thing they could afford to make, and so they made it every winter when it was cold, and my dad loved it. He was like a kid. He'd get the wooden spoon and he'd stir it and stir it and stir it, and he'd be so excited to eat it. God bless him. I have a recipe, their recipe for polenta in the book. I made it because when the book was coming out, I thought, oh my God, I better make this to make sure that it turns out as good as it can. Yeah. But yes, we did used to eat it. When I was little, I hated it because I thought, this is food for poor people. This means we're poor,
Well, it's funny because my grandmother would say when my dad was young, they would complain and say, Mom, polenta again. We're so tired of eating it. My grandmother lived to a ripe old age, but when my dad was much older in life, he would beg my grandmother to make it.
Yes.
And when we would eat it, we would have it all on a big board, all spread out on the board on the table, and everybody would just get their fork and cut into a piece of it. Is that the way your family did it?
We didn't, but I know that my father's family, I think, did that. They would put it on a board, and then there would be pieces of sausage in there, and it was a really big deal if you got the piece of sausage. But my parents would put it in separate plates, and then my mother would cover it in tomato sauce with sausage, and that's how we ate it. But I know that's how because my cousin is from Italy here, and she's sitting there nodding and smiling.
She was,
and saying,
I noticed that.
Yeah. That's how they do it. I had no idea they did it that way.
That's the way we still do it. We have a polenta party every year.
Oh, do you
and
really?
A lot of people who weren't exposed to that, they think they're going to get a piece of polenta on a plate, kind of like you get at a restaurant or something, right?
Yeah.
And we spread it across the whole board. We put a bunch of different meat in the middle. People can grab what they want. And, when you spread it out, you put little dimples in it, and that's where you can kind of couple the sauce into it and spread the sauce over. It's a lot of work, actually. My grandmother, she was in her 80s, and I would help her make polenta, and she'd be sitting there stirring it as it got thicker and thicker.
Yeah.
And Scott will tell you, I'm a pretty big guy, and I'd get over there and get that wooden... It looked like a broom handle.
Yeah,
like she used to stir it, right?
You made a lot of polenta.
With 2 hands. Yeah, I'd be there with 2 hands stirring that doggone thick pot. And my grandmother in her 80s, she'd grab it with one hand and say, no, Tommy, you do it with the wrist.
Oh.
And she'd stir it with one hand.
Wow.
It just amazed me. One of our favorite meals is just curious, if you'd been exposed to that growing up, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Tom, the recipe is in this book. She actually has Robert's polenta, recipe. So you got to get a copy.
And I conferred with my cousin Rich in Florida, who had just made it, and my Uncle Richard, who was a wonderful soul, used to make it for my father after my mom passed away. He would come over on really cold days, and he'd bring a big pot of polenta, and God bless him, he was the coolest guy ever.
Well, I'm certainly going to tell my wife she can order the book on Amazon. Is that correct?
Yes. You can go on Amazon and type in "Come On Down," a little story about my Italian mom's big dream. You can also go to my website, frantunno.com, and there's a link right there where you can order it. Or you can go to my blog at franstable.com, and there are several links where you can order it there. And I think one of the links might be less expensive by $1 or $2 than the other ones. But yeah, there are lots of ways to order it, so just please order it. Order many copies.
Well,
for your next polenta party.
I have 11. Yeah, I have 11 first cousins.
Oh wow!
My plan is for my wife to buy 11 today.
Oh, God love you.
So, I think it would be a great gift for the rest of my family, and I love the story about The Price is Right. Again, I'm 69 years old, grew up with Bob Barker and all that, so can't wait to read it. I think it's a fantastic interview. You've got one of like the best interviewers I've ever met, and Scott Tatey.
Of course, he's fabulous.
Really, really enjoyable program, and I appreciate you. And is your cousin that's there with you from L'Aquila too?
Yes, my cousin Irene is here. We call her Irene, but, in the United States, it's Irene. Irene.
Yeah, my wife and I are actually going to take a trip sometime this year, and it's going to be 3 weeks just in Abruzzo. We want to go to every small town, Teramo, Pomona, Centro, and we want to go and spend a couple days in each town. Real quick, I know you're almost running out of time. Have you ever heard of a short 20-minute movie called La Mia Strada?
No, I don't.
It's, you've got to look it up on YouTube, Fran.
I will.
It's about the people in the mountains that were sheep herders like my grandparents. And starting around October, there was so much snow up in the mountains, and our town's 8,000 feet up the side of the Maella Mountains. So they'd have to kind of migrate 120 miles southeast down towards the Adriatic to Foggia in that area. And it's called La Mia Strada, and it talks about this journey that all the people in the mountains would make every fall for 4 months or so. And funny, they'd go on a day walking 100 sheep with a horse and a cart.
Oh, wow.
And they'd stop at a paisan's house and stay overnight and give them some cheese and bread and stuff. And it's called La Mia Strada. If you ever get a chance to look at it, it's a lovely piece about life in this. It's called transhumana, meaning, people moving and stuff. So anyway, fascinating show. Love it. Can't wait to read the book.
How fun. Thank you so much for calling. You are a delight. You really made my morning. And hey, invite me to your next polenta party. I want to come.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, well, Scott, you got to be able to pronounce a few words in Italian. If you know.
We'll work with you, Scott. Don't worry.
Arrivederci.
Ciao, bambino.
Mangia. Thanks.
That's enough. That's plenty for me.
Okay, there you go. You're in, Scott.
Right,
Take care. Thank you.
Love it. Okay, well, Mary, our time is about up, but we are on Facebook. So if you're anyone out there listening, you want to, how do you spell Fran Tunno? It's Tunno, and we keep holding up the book, and we'll make sure.
Yes, this is what the book looks like. That's an actual copy of my mother's name tag, the actual name tag she wore on the show.
Love it.
My daughter designed the book cover, so you go, Milena.
And you got to read in the book to find out if she made the prize showcase.
That's right. That's right. It's a fun story, and it does reaffirm your faith in a dream. So folks, never give up your dreams.
Thank you, Fran. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Scott. You're the best.
You too.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.